Hi, everyone. Welcome to the So True Network with Dawn Johnson and Powers. I am so glad you're here, and I'm extremely excited to have you here for our In Tru Conversation series. In this space, we sit down with community leaders, educators, and our community voices who are making an extraordinary impact. Together, we'll explore how their journeys connect to the So True pillars: community empowerment, women's empowerment, and financial empowerment. These conversations are about truth in action, our overlapping circles with great people and their stories that remind us we are stronger together. As you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our So True updates. Bring this to a close to talk about, often talk to people about exit strategy, because what I did recognize with our civil rights leaders, I don't know that we admire their life in terms of, yeah, they fought real hard, but they seem to be struggling. They relied on other people to take care of them and their families. They didn't feel very self-sufficient. And I don't know that you can do that these days. Rely on other people or congregations, to take care of family. And people struggle to tithe these days as if the pastor shouldn't live and live a good life. Like, why should they be martyrs or, not drive a nice car or have nice things because they are chosen to deliver God's word? So, I think that giving and that mentorship and sacrificing life and lifestyle is not attractive. Yeah. So, with that being said, I don't think there was mentorship and even passing the baton and doing good or doing good works. Yeah. What do you think you can do as look forward to passing the baton so that your work doesn't die with you, that it can continue on and become your legacy?
Ooh, that's a heavy question. Yeah, and it's funny being on this side of that question because I think that's you like if I was with my record video company and I was doing like a piece with a person, that's one of the last questions I always ask. And when I think if I think heavy about it, I think for me the legacy is the students that I've taught and or now my new role in school leadership and I see those kids years later and they have children and they have children and their life is that of a productive citizen and they are carrying and remembering things that I poured into them. For me that will be the epitome of okay, I'm doing the right thing because I'll say this and this is I think the most humbling and I love when this happened is I'm at the point now where I have kids that I taught that I'm running into. And I was at the flea market one Saturday morning and I asked him if I could share this. It was a kid named uh, Julian Amesqua. And he recognized me, sorry, Junior Amesqua. And he recognized me. I was a seventh grade teacher and he heard my voice, didn't see me, but he just heard my voice. And so he said when he heard my voice, he was trying to find my voice because I was probably calling one of my children in the flea market. And so he comes up to me and he shares with me how he showed me a picture of his new Ford F-150 that he just purchased. He's just about to buy a house. He introduces me to his fiance. He was my first year teacher. He's a student that I had. And I remember him because I told him in front of his fiance, I said, yeah, you used to be turned up in my class. But he talked about how the words that I gave him in middle school, how when he got off track and started getting in trouble in high school, they kept playing in the back of his mind. So for me, like the legacy that I truly, truly want to leave is I want every kid that I've interacted with be able to say that I poured into them the way that Robert McClinton, who was my third grade principal, poured into me. Wow. The way that Miss Sargent, who's my 8th grade science teacher, the way that Miss Tommy and Coach Tommy, like these were a husband and wife tandem who were my football coach and my computer teacher, how they poured into me and forced me to see myself outside of just that little black boy from the hood. Like if I can do that, then I'm 100% okay with whatever else happens with the work that I'm doing.
So I promise we will circle back around because I love Josh's family. Like when I, need a moment to just scroll on social media in a meaningful way, I go, what is Josh and his family doing? Because I have just one child and I get to really, keep that managed. But I'm fascinated by people who have like three children because when I see three children, it like automatically looks like six, seven, eight, nine. So when you're doing this work,
Yeah.
you kind of, think you and Charlotte were probably on the same page in terms of your passions around community work. But sometimes I was talking with one of our others who so true networkers, and she's like, when you're young, you don't know really who you're going to be. So
Yeah.
when I started out in my 20s, 22, doing youth ministry, and I had always done things in the community. I patterned my life behind my family, just my parents, just being involved in community and giving of time, talent, resources. I didn't know that I was going to be this person. So my poor husband, he just kind of like got dragged into, and he, had his own path of figuring out what his contributions would be to community. So sometimes that behind the scenes stuff, when you are a family of doing community work and it doesn't look the same all the time,
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't play out well in terms of managing the finances because a lot of time you're going into your own coffers to pay for work or sacrificing money you could be making because you're giving to community. Um, but I love you and Charlotte. Y'all seem to be very much on the same page. And we talked a little bit about, I was fascinated with Alicia Keys talking about how she and her husband one up each other when
Yeah.
they're trying to give to each other for birthdays or different Valentine's Day or holidays. And it's not a one upping in terms of who writes the bigger check, but just in who really taps into knowing the essence of their partner and how they can bring them joy through their giving. So tell us a little bit how what you and Charlotte do to lighten your load, doing the community work, being educators, having three children.
Yeah.
How do you pour into each other?
So two things. I'll share the one up thing.
Uh-huh.
But another thing is I have a cousin Eloise when her and Jose have been married 20 something years. And we first got married on wedding night. She said, Josh, make sure you always make deposits.
Okay.
All right. So those deposits can be dates or just beautiful, I love you, whatever, right? So we believe like we go on dates.
Okay.
Like I don't care if sometimes it's random, sometimes they're planned. We have to pay for babysitters, but like we just and randomly, spontaneously go on dates. The other thing is our anniversaries.
Okay.
I believe, and this is just me being petty, I believe I'm a better gift giver, but I lose this battle every year because what we do with our anniversaries, we started since year one. This March, will be, I believe, year 12. And we take turns, so planning the anniversary. And when it's my year to plan the anniversary, I have to plan it to the interest, to the likings of my wife, Charlotte. Okay. And when it's her year to plan it, she's trying to plan it in a way that impresses me and to my interests and to my preference. Okay. And it gets pretty competitive, and I'll be very transparent. I usually lose because she just like one year she took me, and so for her to do this, I knew it was she won. Like she took me jet skiing and all these different things.
I've never seen that.
Well, that's a different one. That's a different. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was a funny video she went live on Facebook. Okay. Where she wanted to go kayaking. That was one of our just random dates. Okay. And which I never do again, by the way. But just like we do that every year. We try to like pour in each other and like serve each other throughout our anniversary. And so I think that keeps it like I look forward to like, okay, I wonder what she's gonna do. And so that's one of the things we do. Yeah.
Well, tune in to Josh Bovil. If you want to see, I don't know, Brady Bunch, what would y'all call it? If there was a sitcom that you could pattern your life after?
I would say, I don't know. it'll be hard. My favorite, I'll say the Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
Just cause I love the show. I don't
Gotcha.
know, but you should see the stuff that don't make social media. Because my Charlotte's favorite thing is you better not post that. Like,
well, I'm not gonna post the puppet show.
That you just yeah, she's that was on her story, which I didn't even know she was recording, but yeah, she's like, you better not post that.
Awesome. Well, in doing the good work in the community, we can't forget family because they support us. I know my husband is a huge supporter of my work, and I feel bad because I just evolved into this person, and he didn't know that's who he was marrying. And my husband's more of a small increment. Like I'm the big like. How can I like if he says, "Oh, I'm uncomfortable," then I'm like, "Okay, let me find this chair that's gonna make him comfortable." Or he likes to watch sports. So how do I help with the design of his basement, his man cave, so that he can enjoy things away. So I want to try to make his space comfortable because he's so supportive and lets me do the things that I do in community, which I know takes me away a lot of times. So, I just encourage couples, this work is hard and we got to find the moments that are going to become the precious memories that we can look back on.
Yeah.
So
I think we got to find a way to make sure that we pour into. A lot of times when we do stuff that takes us away from our home, and we have to realize how much of a sacrifice that person is making. Like for like even think it's a Saturday, I'm away from my house right now, and my wife is at home with the 3 kids. We have to be cognizant of that and pour back into them the way that they are pouring into us. Because when they give us the that flexibility and that support, that they're pouring into us too. Because if my wife said at the drop of a dime, I need you home, everything you're doing with the books and speaking, that needs to stop. I would do it. Yeah. I would argue about it, but I would do it.
I think my husband's probably afraid to have me stop because he's like, all that energy gotta go somewhere.
Right.
And I'm going to be just in his face like, what are we doing now? And he likes his time to himself. So I think it's a good give and take. He's very supportive. And if I told him, even with the agency, I'm like, if you don't want me to do this thing, I could be at home. Yeah. You're able to financially take care of us. We can adjust our lifestyle and I'll be at home. And he's like, no. He's afraid. He's very afraid. So, but thank you, Josh, for being a partner in this community. I love the fact that we have found overlapping circles, and I look forward to continuing to support you and showcase you and all the things that you're doing. I think you're a phenomenal person in this community who is changing lives, and I love watching the work you do. So I'm grateful that your truth and my truth have found an intersection, and that's where we have found liberty, encouragement, support. You're walking your walk and I'm walking my walk, and we together encouraging people to do the same. So I hope that people can find their truth and live their best life so that you can be so true that you're a beacon of light and you draw other people to want to do something similar to impact their communities. Thank you so much for joining us for In Tru Conversations. Every story shared is another piece of our collective truth that we're presenting to our community to build together. I invite you to stay connected with the So True Network by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and please share this episode with someone who you think may need it. Remember, your truth matters, and when your truth and my truth intersect, we will find liberty. So I'll see you in the next conversation.